Many times it does, Richie, and if you're not careful, and all of us, if somebody sits on this seat and tells you that the title and the role they hold has never gotten to their head, they're lying to you. Humble pie is a lie. The truth is, there are people, all of us, Richie, all of us.
You never truly know people until you take the time out to get to know them. That's the tagline here. You know, first of all, we've eaten. There's some energy in the body.
Thank you for a good lunch.
Thank you so much as well for the good company and good vibes. You know, we've got 20 years left.
You know, Richie, when you said you need the whole day, I was like, hey, what possibly could you be extracting? But now I get it.
We have 2 decades still to go. Okay. But I like where it ended. 2004.
5.
2005.
Into 5. Now when I met my husband.
You were love entered the picture.
Yes.
And how did that go? So when did you guys get married? After how long?
So we started talking on phone in April. We met in person in May. He proposed in September. We married in February. So we didn't finish a year.
Okay.
We were not rushing, by the way. Let me tell you. So let me tell you a story. When we both knew we really wanted to get married in the month of February. So we had, and for some reason, February 28th. And I can't explain why both of us really liked that date. And he said, okay, I need to take you back a little bit. We had already planned to get married. We wanted to do it in Amboseli. We even went and we were going to get married at Oltukai Lodge, where I had done an event and I really liked it. I love elephants, all things elephants. Like, for me, elephants they're such a beautiful animal. So I was very clear I wanted to get married. And Amboseli was that. Oltukai had enough rooms for my wedding. We were not going to be a lot of people, so it fit what we wanted. We had done everything, booked the dates. We had sent out our wedding card. Friends had planned for our transport, carpooling, vans, safari vehicles, blah, 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 accommodation. Richie had even gone and made my dress. It was going to be a beautiful white dress. It was being made by this lady who makes beautiful African wear. It was a really nice, I had chosen everything, the ring, everything was ready. We were come, we stay, by the way. We were living together already.
Did that cause drama?
Not in the way, but no. I think
no, there's a laugh there. Yeah, I don't believe that. No, that one I do not believe.
Not drama in the way you're expecting. Okay. The drama it was not drama. It was more like, hey, please, can you people just get married? This come we stay is not sitting well. My cousin, the one I told you about, he's very traditional. Not that he forces any beliefs or anything like that. He's still equal believer of women's rights and stuff. But for him, he was just like, guys, if you're gonna live together, so can you just get married?
Just do the do.
Please just so we were like, okay, fine. I mean, we were not in a hurry to get married, but we were already come, we staying, and both of us were like, we know we're gonna get married, so let's just do it. I mean, the short version of that is that. But I remember I used to work days, and my husband, Tariq, used to work nights. He works for a logistics firm. He still works there. And he was on night shift and more loading flowers onto. So he'd work nights, I'd work. And so anyway, we lived together. And one morning, I think he finished his shift at about 2:30. So he got home. And I normally leave dinner for him on the table. He'd eat and come to bed. But that night, he found me sitting on the dining table with my laptop. And he's like, what's going on? I said, come, sit down. So the guy is trying to eat his meal. And I've opened my machine. And I'm like, I don't want the wedding. And he goes, what do you mean?
What?
I opened the event budget. I opened the Excel sheet and he said, what do you mean? And I said, I don't want a wedding. I know it's every time I think about it, I feel unwell. Like I don't feel like it's not exciting me. I think I'll be more frustrated. I don't want, because I think at my wedding, I'll be annoyed because I won't be happy with how things, not because I'm a control freak, but I just couldn't see myself walking down the aisle and having people look at me. I don't like that. I don't like that attention factor. I didn't want to walk down the aisle and there's 100 people looking at me. It was making me feel like, ugh. I don't know how to describe it. It still makes me feel like that, by the way. And I said, look, this thing's going to cost us like at the time, I think the wedding was going to cost us 1.3 million by the time you do the dress and pay for my mom and his mom's accommodation and what they're going to wear and hairdresser and ring and all that stuff. And I was like, 1.3 million. And we don't even have that kind of money. I mean, then, yeah, I said, no, I don't want the wedding. And he said, everybody, especially, and it's true, most girls will imagine most of their life in that white dress or whatever it is, the red sari, whatever it is people are subscribing to. And I was like, actually, no, I can wear that dress even run around the house full day. I have no problem. It's not what's exciting me.
Yeah.
And he said, are you sure? I said, I'm very sure. And he said, because I want to give you the wedding you want. And I said, no. So we called my cousin in Kilelesho and we said, I want to come and see you. Because now he's standing in for my father. Remember, my father's passed away.
Yeah.
He's the administrator and kind of taken over, not responsibility, but being the father figure. And I called him and I went to see him. And of course, he was like, what do you mean? You have to have a wedding. And are you doing it because you don't have money? I'll pay for you. And I said, no, it's not the case. I really don't want a wedding. And he's like, you don't have to do it on Mombaseli. Let's just go to Grand Regency. Remember, Grand Regency is still a big hotel, right? We can go to the ballroom. You must do this in front of people, you know. And I was like, now my sisters are married and they've gone to a court. So nobody in the family is giving anybody a wedding now. There's no like sherehe to speak of. Guys are like, what is up with this man's children? My brother gets married in court. Everybody's in court. So I'm the hope of maybe there'll be like a
bash.
There'll be some sort of a wedding to show for. And I'm like, I don't want. But he was kind enough and he said, I want to do this for you because I think that's what your father would have wanted. So I said to him, I said, we don't have the same man. My father, he goes, okay, fair enough. Your dad wouldn't have cared about a wedding either. No. My mom and dad also got married in a court. So my dad was not interested in this thing of, say, you spend money on a wedding. He's like, it's the paper that matters, right? So my cousin said to me, fine. Then this money you guys have saved up, what's your plan? So he said, we think we should get an apartment instead. And he said, fine, I give you guys a week, go look for that apartment. If you have any gaps, I'll help you pay the deposit, etc. And that's what we did. We went and the 1.3 would have spent on the wedding. We went and put a deposit on the apartment, which we own today.
Wow.
So yes, we didn't have a wedding. We did Sharia house. Best day ever. So Richie, sorry, back to how does this tie back? So we got married on February 28th. When we went to Sharia house early January, they said February 28th is not available. So we got engaged in September, started looking. Now remember, we were supposed to go to Amboseli. We canceled the Amboseli plan. Now the plan is to find a date at Sharia house, to do this at Sharia house. Get there and they say, hey, these dates are fully booked, but if anything opens up, we'll tell you. But specifically, we wanted February 28th. And so the lady, very nice lady, said, if it opens up, nitawapigia simu, don't worry. So me, I'm continuing with my life. I'm now in a team building in Naivasha on the Friday. And Tariq calls me and says, hey, are you ready to marry me? I said, yeah, what's up? He said, Tuesday's opened up, February 28th. I said, okay. I think it was a Tuesday, Monday or Tuesday. And I said, we're doing this. He said, yeah, we do this. So I called my cousin. I said, are you free on Tuesday? I'm very sure it was a Tuesday. And he said, yeah, I can be. What's up? I said, oh, I'm getting married. He said, are you pregnant? I said, I am not pregnant. That's the date we wanted. Can you please? He said, I'll be there. So then he called
because you need a witness.
Witnesses. But obviously, I'm not going to do this without him. He's been such a big part of my life. Called my mom, as blasé as ever, like, okay, what am I going to wear? I need to find an outfit. Send me money. I go and look for clothes to wear. Just my mom being a man. His mom and sister are not too excited because they couldn't understand what was the rush.
Where's the party?
What is going on? They were not too. Anyway, so we went to Sharia house, and it was, I think, 6 people who are witnesses. His mom's sister, my cousin, his wife, my uncle, his wife, and then me and Tariq. And we got married at Sharia house. When we finished, which was again 28th of Feb, we finished. I called some of my friends. I said, what are you doing? Can you come to Mediterranean at the junction at lunchtime? I need to tell you guys something. So my friends showed up. Some of my family members were in Narok, were told in the morning by my cousin, come to Nairobi, be at junction by 12:30. And we had just about 25 people at lunch. People we wanted, then were like, we got married. Of course, people were like, oh my God, you should have told us. This can't be the way things are done. That, of course, but everyone was happy. And we left them married and reported back to work the next day. But in all this, I've asked my then boss for leave, and he was like, where are you going? I said, I only need the day tomorrow. He says, but tomorrow is Soya, the Safaricom Sports Personality of the Year Awards. And it was guys like Paul Tergat and Haile Gebrselassie. I said, this cannot be the day you want an off day, the day before.
Yeah.
I was like, this is really important to me. I just need the day off. So they're like, what is going on? Are you in trouble? And I said, no. Can I just have 28th of February off? I will be back to run the event on May 1. Finally, I said, okay, you guys, please allow me to go and get married. I'll be back in the afternoon if you want, but I need to do this and then come to work. Guys are like, what do you mean you're getting married? I said, I am, and can you just give me my Tuesday off? So I finished the weekend job because now I'm applying for that day off on Friday at the event. We went to Nanyuki. We did an event called 10 to 4 Bicycle Challenge. Came back to Nairobi Monday, because the event finishes late on a Sunday. Came back Monday. Didn't have a wedding outfit, nothing. I just had a white suit, a full business suit that I had kept and never worn. Got married in that. Finished. Came back home. Next day at Soya, running the event, business as usual.
But I love it.
By the way, there was no we did our honeymoon in April in the Mara. Yeah.
So you still got your elephants?
I still got my elephant.
But I have this question now. First of all, that's a bit insane. But I have the question about...
And guess where we're going for our anniversary this month? 20th.
Amboseli?
No. Mara. Amboseli. Elephants. Lazima. I'm a cheap date, Richie.
So, what about your mom?
My mom.
What? So do you leave her alone in Langata?
It's buy one, get one free with my mother. No, I was leaving my mother. But you know what? So the time, my mom and I are now living in Langata by ourselves. It's a barely upstanding house, old, hasn't been maintained for obvious reasons. I told you how we went rock bottom, etc. So whenever I left, my mom would be left in this house by herself. 5-bedroomed house, no fence, bougainvillea fence. You just walk through it like it's nothing. So Tariq's sister Natasha, who was, remember, my hairdresser, when we were in Amboseli doing the recce for the wedding, she said, how is my mom being left alone? And remember Langata, in those days, didn't have this.
Yeah.
She went and picked my mom up, told her, pack your bags, come and stay with us. Every time Zah goes somewhere, you'll stay with us, which is very nice. So me, I go home, I'm not seeing my mother. I've called her, she said I'm at Tariq's house. So I go to Tariq's house with him. And mother has been living there the whole weekend. So we blended really well. And
so
then
your mom moved in with you guys after you got married?
Before.
So
Tariq lived with his mom and sister.
Yes.
I lived with my mom. At some point, Tariq and I left both homes to start. We wanted to move in together.
Yes.
We got our own apartment. His mom and sister stayed where they were, but me, I'm not leaving my mama.
Yeah.
So I carried her with me, and now we live 3 of us. Come, we stay. And then also, even after, up until her dying day, my mom lived with me.
Oh, I asked this question because it's a thing that's really been on my mind. Where did Africans stop this tradition of community living? It's actually, you have no idea how much I think about this.
You know, Richie, in many cultures, the girl's mother doesn't go. It's normally the boy's mother you end up living with. We were still again breaking so much. Technically, we should have been living with Tariq's mom.
So how does it work normally? It's it's the girl.
Me who's getting married into his
leave.
family would be living with his family, but he didn't want that for us. He wanted us to be alone. But mimi huyu nimekuja na extra bags.
But he loved you and he was
cool. Richie, have you ever gone somewhere to a family event and you're the outside and it's your family? That's how my mom and husband were. Let me tell you, from the time my mother and Tariq, my mother's name was Emma. When Emma and Tariq met like this, you'd have thought that I'm the outsider. And these two are mother and child, because they absolutely... First of all, both of them were smokers. Then he would eat what she made. Me, I wouldn't. So the thing my mom knew how to cook was fried eggs and salami in it. And he would eat it lovingly, because 3 in the morning, umetoka airport, you're happy to eat it. So the way Tariq and I would see each other is, if we didn't see each other in the evening, because my shift, or rather mine coming home, didn't meet with his going to the airport, he'd take a break and come and have dinner at my house in Langata. My mom would wake up, they'd have coffee and their eggs, and I'm the outsider there, because both are smokers, so they're sitting outside in the kitchen smoking. So, but they absolutely loved each other. He's actually the person who buried my mom.
What?
Yeah, he actually, the morning my mom died, he carried my mom into the car and we went to Narok and he buried my mother.
Oh, wow.
With his own hands, yeah.
Wow.
So me, I was the outsider here.
Okay. This is 2006 when you get married?
Yes, 2006. My mom passing is 2015.
So yes.
That's much later. But yeah, 2006, now we get married in February and we now live together.
And now that house in Langata, it's still yours, but you just...
We've rented it out. Now it's helping pay my mom's upkeep.
Okay. What about, I've understood now this new life that's starting.
Yes.
In 2005-06, have you been raised up the ranks in terms of work?
Yes, I moved 1 grade up to become the publicity manager.
Publicity manager?
Yeah, which is in charge of PR events, sponsorships.
Oh, but then still internally?
Yes, but still with an agency.
Yes, with an agency.
Because unless you're going to have 15, 20 people in that department, what Safaricom needs to run that events PR section is still being outsourced to Gina Din.
And let me ask you, did you at any point ever interact with government? I know you're in eventing.
All the time. Because if you look at Safaricom Care Center, it was opened by the then President Moi, the late.
Yes.
HQ1 was opened by the late President Kibaki. President Uhuru, we had many interaction with. Him as finance minister. I think there was something at the Standy where I met him. Interactions when he came for Michael's, farewell party. We did, IPO, many different scenarios.
Oh, yes.
You're going up country. If you go to Lamu, you're dealing with the governor there. He's doing the official opening. If you're in Busia, you're inviting. It's just...
So as part of eventing, this is part of now your world.
We were being exposed to, Richie, not just, you're a junior person in terms of the role you hold, but you're dealing with presidents' offices.
It's office to office, yeah.
You've got people like Lady Smith Black Pambazo coming, and these are people you're seeing in albums. You've got the All Blacks team come, they're playing sevens, and you're right there. You're exposed to people like Paul Tergat, you're exposed to people like Catherine Dereba, who now become an everyday because you're sponsoring Catherine Dereba's run in Nyeri. She's no longer the person you're seeing on TV. She's now the person...
She's your client.
You're interacting with on Sunday at a race in Nyeri because that's what she's doing and you're sponsoring it. So It wasn't, it
No.
wasn't, it was our every day.
I'm so glad that I asked this question because I keep saying a brand is people. Safaricom doesn't go to meet Lamu. A human being in Safaricom or a human being representing Safaricom,
Yes.
because that's a heavy responsibility as well,
Yeah.
goes to meet another human being representing that office.
Yes.
It's human to human interaction.
Yeah. And it's human to human. And when you walk in, you're still walking in as Safaricom.
Yeah.
Because that's what you're there to do, right?
Yes.
So whether we were in Salvo donating books or we were in Nanyuki handing over branding at the stadium, you're still there as Safaricom. You're not there as Zaheeda. You're Zaheeda, yes, an employee of Safaricom, but they're seeing you as an officer of this brand.
How doesn't that thing get to your head? Because
Many times it does, Richie, and if you're not careful, and all of us, if somebody sits on this seat and tells you that the title and the role they hold has never gotten to their head, they're lying to you. Humble pie is a lie. The truth is, there are people, all of us, Richie, all of us. There was even a time where you'd be like, just tell them to leave the letter at the reception, I'm too busy. Because now you're sitting in a corner office and you feel, you don't answer those calls, you're too busy, you're this, you're that. It's everybody.
To fast forward, did you, of course you felt the gap when you left. In terms of once you left Safaricom, does your phone ring less?
Yes, I've talked about this many times.
Does that whole lifestyle happen?
Yes, because, and the sooner, and I said this, if any of you are thinking of leaving where you are to do your own thing, please don't just plan financial, plan emotional as well. Because I keep saying this, no one helped me prepare emotionally. No one. People tell you no one will pick your calls, then you think it's not such a big deal, but there's so much emotion that goes with it. It's almost worse than the financial because, financial will come. If you don't deal with your emotion, it can really take you down.
Explain a little bit more about this. You're so used to the seat has become part of you.
Yes.
And you've forgotten that you are on the seat, the seat is not you.
You realize that people are interested in you because of the seat you're occupying, the title that you have. The very people that called me for sponsorships and please, you need to sponsor my gala dinner, And they are marketing people in big brands even today. And when I stepped out thinking, they'll give me an opportunity, introduce me to supply chain, I'm not asking you to give me a handout. And I think that's where people get confused. I'm not asking you to do me favors. Richie, it's interesting, the brands that the people who are speaking for us in the rooms were not, I hardly did anything for in Safaricom. But then you get caught up in this thing of, I sponsored Richie or whatever, and then I come out and I ask Richie, please introduce me to so-and-so because you know them and Richie doesn't want to answer your calls. So there's that fact as well. And then you realize, and you hear about it, and you'll hear about it, and you process it like that versus when you go through it and how you process it.
Core ground is different.
Yeah, a bit core ground. Because the truth is, the phone calls are not picked. The people you thought your friends. And let's not get confused that I'm giving you a chance to open a door for me. I'm not asking you to give me work. It's just, if you're working a big brand, if you could just introduce me to supply chain, I'd be super grateful. But you also realize nobody owes you anything. And so sitting here and saying, oh, kumbaya, nobody was my friend. You get over that. Get over it very quickly.
Wow.
Nobody owes you anything. Unless you have an agreement. Nobody actually owes you anything. My support came from places I never believed. Let me give you an example. The 4 gentlemen from Sauti Sol, people like Moriasi within that ecosystem, I didn't talk to them for years. But they were speaking for me in rooms I was not present in when I walked out of Safaricom, including calling me to ask me to be a part of Soulfest. They owed me nothing, I owed them nothing. I never left Safaricom thinking, let me call BN to support me in X. BN just called me and said, let's sit down and see what we can do. So where I thought my support was going to come from, if I was to go back now and write that list, I think some of the people who are my biggest supporters today would not have been in my list originally,
Wow.
just because I didn't see it that from that angle. We get stuck in these corner offices of ours and think that this title and this big seat that I'm occupying is gonna. Don't get me wrong, the social capital I've built over the years and stepping out and reputation and stuff has obviously opened a lot of doors. But to answer your question, do the phone calls stop? Yes, they do. Majority of them. And it's okay. We've moved on. What I love about that whole thing is at least you've shown me who you truly are. And I'm good with it. So I don't look for you anymore.
Yo. How do you see, you can't control what others do, but you can at best help yourself.
Yes.
So how do you think of somebody who's just entering corporate? This thing didn't start on you day one.
No.
It probably crept on. It probably slowly until Zaheeda without Safaricom's name, you were almost like your surname was Safaricom.
It's true. Even when I left, people were like, no. And even now, the other day, a lady called me looking for something. And I said, you know, I'm no longer in Safaricom. She said, I know, but still, can you please talk to the sponsorship people for me? Because you must be able to. And I was like, okay, I can only give you a phone number to talk to them. She's like, you can't talk to them to sponsor me. And I'm like, the real world doesn't work like that.
Okay.
So yeah, Richie, for the longest time, I was seen as Safaricom, even after I left. To be fair, I spent 22 years of my life. That's all people knew. So it's not like it was a rubber stamp on my forehead. It was just the way things had been. So it's completely understood.
And also, we'll get later on to there, but the department that you worked in was a solution department to people. Because you see, like now when you're talking about sponsorship, where am I going to get money for my event? Zaheeda. You get, pick up the phone.
And your title, the title is a responsibility. And I keep telling people that when you're sitting as head of brand at Safaricom, you have a responsibility to the people of Kenya in a way, because you're in charge of the sponsorship budget. You're in charge of the brand asset budget. There are people, there are creatives who etc. So if you're to stay true to the ethos of the brand, which is transforming lives, and how are we transforming those lives? So it's a responsibility. It's not just a job.
Oh, okay. Hey, this is, it's heavy what you're talking about. It's heavy, and I'm trying to figure out how do you, okay, let me ask it again then. How do you prevent the ego? Because you've said everybody who sat there and said that, and it's not just in Safaricom, it's in different organizations.
It's everywhere.
Yeah,
Even
it's everywhere.
Small, medium, big, everybody.
Yes.
You know, I could be sitting here running my company right now thinking, hey, we're it. Actually, we're it plus a million other people are also it. We're as good as yesterday and as good as our tomorrow. I don't know that there's a formula. I think you keep reminding yourself that at the point where I started asking myself what I'm doing with my next, the next also said, if I walked out of Safaricom today, would I have an identity? And I started to think about that very carefully. And was I known as this person who was in Safaricom, or did I want to be known as this person who is worth X, Y, Z? And I worked very, at least towards the last few years, I worked towards building my reputation in a way that was solid to me and not necessarily to who I was in a space.
So I know we're jumping, but so you had time to think about your transition.
Yes, from 2018.
2018? Okay, we're coming to 2018 because we're in 2006. So you start your life, married, work, now you've entered, you said it again, you're promoted to?
Publicity manager.
Does that 125 go up?
Yes, it does, to